Alright. Hopefully this doesn't kill and I can get these 2 Dragon Claws off. Oh! Ooh. Yo, how's it going everyone? Today we are going to be using the team that completely clapped on us yesterday. That's right, the Giratina altered Togekiss Dialga. It's a pretty solid ABB line. You basically switch out to your Dialga when you lose your lead. Bait any steel types, any ground types, well ground like Landorus, Excadrill, Melmetal, all these Pokemon that potentially can beat Togekiss. Then you farm it down with your Giratina and throw your energy and then sweep of Togekiss. It's amazing. I did spoilers, I did pretty well with this team. So yeah, let's see how we do. Let's jump right into it. Let's see how we do. So yeah, game 1, great lead here. We definitely want to get those steel types in the lead and not in the back. This is our first game, so I'm kind of still like figuring out what's the best thing to do. So I ended up just throwing I think he ended up catching the Shadow Sneak, and then I decided to just go into Dialga here and throw the Iron Head. Now I know that I can just farm down even if he Aeroblast rather, but if he had got the booster I would have most certainly died, and now he gets very minimal farm, so very optimal for my Dialga to die there. And now I can come back in and just Shadow Sneak this away, and then he shields here, so I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna shield as well. And then this is where I kind of make a mistake. I assumed he would double shield because I was kind of surprised why he shielded initially, so I decided to throw my Dragon Claw here. I did have the Shadow Sneak, so this could have been a Shadow Sneak, and he ended up no shielding there, and that's gonna basically cost me this game here, especially after letting the Shadow Ball go through. Kind of a 50-50. Usually sometimes if you shield the bait, they can land the Shadow Ball, so it's like a 50-50 all the time. And I should have probably just farmed this down. Oh, he shields anyway, so that's fine. But now he gets a bit of farm and is able to take the game. If I didn't throw that Dragon Claw and I threw that Shadow Sneak, he would have died because look at his health there. But regardless, we continue. Great lead here again, Kyogre. Normally if they switch in Kyogre, I like to switch in Togekiss against any opposing Dialga, just so that I have 2 good counters against the Kyogre, even if I let this go, because normally I throw my Ancient Power here, and if they let it go, they don't get to a second one, like so, but if they do, they could have shielded. Now I get the Melmetal here as well, which is really ideal, so I can come back in with my Giratina and put lots of pressure on it, and use my 1 shield for the Dialga for the Kyogre in the back. So at this point, kind of easy RPS here, and yeah, we're just gonna see that even though he shields, because I got some energy earlier on, I'm able to pretty much take this game here. But yeah, so I think he's just gonna sack this and try to farm with his Kyogre to get an energy advantage on whatever I have in the back. Kind of surprised he shielded there. I decided, you know what, I'll just let this go. I'll just farm with Dialga, getting energy advantage. I have Thunder on this, just so that I can hit the Melmetals when I safe switch it a bit harder, but it really helps for the Kyogre matchup as well, as we can see. And even if he had superpower there, I would have survived. So yeah, GG's. Bit of a tricky lead here. I like to switch in. Well, I think I normally try to catch the Outrage or something, because I know they're not going to throw Earth Power on the Dialga, but he ends up throwing Sand Tomb, which is whatever. Now at this point I am extremely scared of this Mamoswine. If this Mamoswine is allowed to live, he can pretty much sweep my entire team. So I decide to do a bit of a risky play here and go for the double shield, just so I can get as much Dragon Breath damage as possible. I decide to throw the second Iron Head just to force the second shield. At this point, if he shielded this, I think he could have farmed me down because of the debuff, but thankfully he didn't. and then he comes back in with, oh, he comes in with Shadow Magnezone this time. Very, very interesting. I think this guy forgot that Ultra League, Master League Premier isn't a thing anymore. Even those resisted Dragon Claws doing a lot of damage. Managed to catch the Outrage here on the Togekiss, and from this point, even if he throws his Mirror Shots and doesn't debuff him, he's already taken too much health, and I'm able to take the game with my healthy Giratina. So yeah, pretty interesting. I think if I didn't double shield the Mamoswine, I would have definitely lost. Another great lead here, and onto the Kyogre. He switches in Dialga. I decide to, once again, when Kyogre lead, I like to switch in Togekiss. Let's see this time if he's going to shield the obvious Ancient Power here. Actually, I go bait for the Flamethrower. So he might actually be tempted to shield here, and he does. And here the Iron Head will KO. I think I just let this go because I don't need to win switch. I have 2 counters for the Kyogre. So I come in with my Giratina again and farm this down. And then he actually comes in Togekiss, I believe. Yes, that's right. But because I farmed a little bit the Kyogre, I actually have a huge energy advantage. And energy advantage on the Giratina, altered rather, is can actually flip the Togekiss matchup because of all that neutral Shadow Claw damage, and I'm able to barely kill it. And now he has a Kyogre against my Dialga, so unfortunate for him. GG's. And now we're gonna see another game with Bloody Bananas. He gets the Lugia lead here. I think what I do is go for a Shadow Sneak. I always need to switch out in case he has a steal. I always have to switch out because if he has a steal in the back, it'll completely wreck my line. So I end up catching the Aeroblast here on the Dialga. I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna sack this. If he does have a Steel type, he'll bring it in now, which he does. I try to throw on CMP here, so I can get the Thunder damage, which is why we're running this and not Draco Meteor. And we do actually get the CMP, which is really ideal. So now he gets minimal farm, and I can completely farm him down here without shielding and throw all my energy into whatever Pokemon comes out here. I think he might be able to get to a third Rock Slide here, so I decide to throw my Dragon Claw after farming a little bit, and then when he comes back in with the Lugia, I throw the Shadow Sneak to knock it out, and then I just go in with Togekiss. But he has Kyogre in the back, which is pretty unfortunate, but fortunate for me, Togekiss does barely beat the Kyogre in the 2 shields. I shouldn't have thrown there because that Waterfall sneaked in and it actually got me the kill there. But I have a bit of health on the Giratina to let me win. So we got to 2696 there with our first 4-1. Skipping ahead here to a set after we went 3-2 after our 4-1. Switching in Togekiss on the Dialga again because of the Kyogre lead. Let's see if he decides to shield the obvious Ancient Power. Not baiting it this time. He does shield. So I decide to shield this time, which is a bit interesting because normally I just let it go because I don't really need to win switch, because now the Kyogre can just farm me. So I think this is a bit of a mistake here, but let's see how this progresses here. Even though this is okay, I think that was a huge throw. I don't know why he threw Surf when I was at 1 HP. I guess he didn't want to take another Ancient Power, but I was nowhere near it. So now I can just, I was going to Dragon Breath down the Kyogre, but he comes in with Garchomp. He throws his Sand Tomb. I throw my Iron Head and then catch the Dragon Tail on the Giratina, reset my debuffed Dialga, and I have lots of health. And because he threw that Surf, he's not able to get to a Blizzard. But even if he had Blizzard there, like that would have killed me. And then my Dialga would have looked like he had like 40% health, so that was still plenty of health. So I think even throwing that Surf wasn't a huge mistake. First time I see Zekrom switch, so I go into Togekiss here. Don't know if this is the best play, considering I'm forced to shield here, and then he can come in with his Mewtwo and force more shields. But I do get the shield back, I believe, of this Flamethrower, because it does do quite a bit of damage, and bring it to like half HP or even even like 30-40% HP, which is pretty good. I think I come back in with Giratina here, farm it down. He goes into his Excadrill, which is perfect. This is my Excadrill counter anyway, and I can leave the Dialga for his Mewtwo. I'm pretty sure with a shield I can, you know, shield a Focus Blast or a bait, and he probably, even if he did bait, he probably won't get to one. So fighting this Excadrill, decide to bait here again, expecting a shield, but he doesn't go for it. So I just farm around. I'm like, you know what, I can just let this go. He's not gonna get to another one. I can just Dragon Breath down, as we can see. And I decide I can shield this, because even if it's a bait, I don't think he'll get to a Focus Blast, because he does 1, 2, 3 more Cycle Cuts, and he wouldn't have. So the shield there was very big. Going into our next game, getting another Kyogre lead here. I believe this Kyogre decides to stay in, which is something new. So I'm like, let's just throw these Dragon Claws, try not to have any of these waterfalls sneak in. And he ends up farming quite a bit of energy and tanking 2 of these Dragon Claws before switching out to his Dialga here. Oh, rather, I switch out to my Dialga, because I figured, you know what, I need to switch out. I need to switch out. I need to, like, if he has Kyogre, I need to potentially bait any Steel types there are. And he didn't switch out to any Steel types. He used his Lugia here. So at this point, I'm like, you know what, I can just throw this Thunder and try to take it out here after he shielded, because I didn't think he was going to shield again. And we potentially did bait out a big counter to the Togekiss here. So we're going to bait the Thunder here and then switch our Togekiss here, tank the energy because it's completely useless against both the Kyogre and the Ho-Oh, get some nice charm damage. And now we can potentially use that Dialga, get a few Dragon Breaths out of it, and then farm the rest with our Giratina, shield the Blizzard as it's gonna hurt the most. And now he needs 2 Brave Birds or 2 Earthquakes, and we already have the Dragon Claw here to close the game. And he knew it was over. Getting a lot of Kyogre leads. I'm getting pretty lucky with my leads here today. Once again, he decides to stay in here, or rather she. So we're just gonna throw our Dragon Claws before we get to 100 energy. Timing our moves right. Well, a bit of lag there, so that one sneaked in. And I think I go try to catch a Blizzard on the Dialga. Worst case, it's gonna be neutral. End up baiting the Mewtwo here. Decide not to shield anything. He actually throws Ice Beam, which is a bit inefficient because 2 Psycho Boost rather would have KO'd from there. So a bit weird. So, but this is good. This is one of a counters for Togekiss. So we just take the shields here, and we're fine. We are a bit scared of that Ice Beam on the Tina, so we just throw immediately and keep our shield advantage for Togekiss. And it's Yveltal in the back, and this Kyogre has already taken too much damage. We decide to shield the Surf here, as it's gonna hurt more, assuming the Yveltal doesn't have any Hurricane. Throw the Ancient Power here. It's gonna be super effective damage, doing quite a bit of damage. At this point, he knows it's over. Now, getting Metagross lead, first Metagross lead, pretty good lead here again. Switching to Dialga. So I think this is a bit of a tricky one. I think I should have let this go, because now that I shield and he essentially is going to let this go as well, he can just farm this Togekiss down completely. And all this energy on the Metagross, so he has energy advantage and shield advantage, which is really bad. Even though we get the shield back here, he still has like 1.5 Meteor Mashes, which is pretty bad. I can't really go in Dialga because, you know, he has the Earthquake. Decide to shield the Meteor Mash here, although probably I didn't need to, but as you can see, 2 would have pretty much killed me there. And then he has Yveltal in the back. So I need to get into a habit of going into Dialga, into the Dialga Mirror, just in case he has Yveltal or something like that, so that the Togekiss can sweep up. But we do go up to 2761 there, getting another 4-1. This is just a fun little game. It's not part of any of the 4-1 sets. As you saw, our first set we went 4-1. Our like third set we went 4-1. So I'm only showing the highly positive sets here. Going to switch into Togekiss here, and then with the Landorus, I decide, you know what, I can probably shield this, force a shield on the Ancient Power, or knock him out. And I do end up knocking him out and getting the boost here, which is really nice. So if he does come back in with Mewtwo, it's gonna take a lot of damage, and he decides not to farm it and throw immediately. So at this point, you know what, he's in farming range. I can just go in with my Dialga, but he immediately switches out to Groudon. So at this point, I'm like, I need to shield this. I need to call these baits or shield these earthquakes, and luckily I do shield the earthquake, and I'm like, I need this Dialga, right? So I try to catch on my Giratina, and I barely survive on 1 HP and CMP, getting not 1 but 2 Dragon Claws, as there was no mud shots that sneaked in there. So very optimal. And now at this point I can just farm him down, and it doesn't even get to the Fire Punch, and that gives me perfect energy to throw in the Mewtwo. I think that was like my best game that day, so I just wanted to show you that as well. So I think this is my last set. As you can see, I'm 14-6, like pretty much 70% win rate at this point after 4 sets, and this is the last set here. So once again, we switch out to Dialga, bait out the Melmetal, try to bait out that hard counter to Togekiss. And at this point, you know, he has to, this is quite smart, he goes Superpower and then Rock Slide to get a bit of energy. But he ends up, this is quite smart, I think he ends up predicting my backline. So he throws the Rock Slides to delay the clock, and then switches out his Melmetal so that he can save it for the Togekiss. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I need to change strategies. This Togekiss is dead in the water. I'm just gonna sack this and try to get a flamethrower here. So, and this way I can maybe win with shield advantage with my Giratina. And at this point I can just shield everything because I get to these Dragon Claws before he gets to the Ominous Winds. His only win condition is a bait here, or me no shielding a Shadow Ball, which I do. So at this point I can just shield the next thing pretty easily and throw my 3rd Dragon Claw to win the game. So yeah, really, so once again, you know, depending on the situation, you need to change your strategy if they read your team. Another Kyogre lead, and I feel he was tired of that, so he instantly quits. And this is where we really turn the lag on for our opponents, and pretty much forced them to quit not 1 but 2 games. So moving on, thought I'd leave that in there. Another Kyogre lead, getting a lot of good leads here. Like I said before, you need, sometimes if you want to climb, you just need a good day with a lot of good leads. But like I said, a lot of bad leads I got today, I also ended up winning as well. So it's not just about winning leads, but trying to find your win conditions in the bad scenarios. Going in Togekiss here, I decided, you know, I think I keep doing this mistake. I need to go in Dialga against the Lugia just to confirm the kill here, just in case he has Yveltal in the back. Because if he has Yveltal in the back, he can kind of bait and end up winning. I decide to shield the Thunder here, but luckily he didn't have Yveltal, and at this point I can just double shield, Dragon Breath down, and my fully pretty healthy Giratina can take care of the Kyogre in the back. Especially if it has Thunder, it's pretty much over. So at this point I'm like just gonna force his shields here, just so I can pressure the rest of his Pokemon with Dragon Breath, but I end up killing it and he knows it's over. I think this is one of our last games. Switching in Mewtwo here, I end up throwing an Iron Head, and I think he goes Ice Beam again, right? No, he goes double Side Strike. And I know he wins the one shield, so I just sack this, go for shield advantage, farm it down with the Giratina. I think we see the Ice Beam here actually, I'm not sure if we see another Ice Beam Mewtwo. Yeah, there it is. And now I'm a bit scared because Giratina, you know, like I said, excels with lots of HP, and with Kyogre in the back, I'm not sure my shield advantage is gonna matter that much, even if I don't throw my energy, but luckily I do throw and he doesn't sneak any waterfalls here. I think it's going to be like a simultaneous KO or not. I think I took some Dragon Breath damage, and at this point the Giratina, the Dialga has too much health and is going to take the game here. But pretty good day of wins, going 18-7, climbing to 28-11. Man, 18-7, 72% win rate, pretty amazing. I mean, you just saw some of those games. I mean, a lot of those plays were, you know, pretty high level, but I think other than, I feel a lot of those games I should have lost and I squeezed the win out, but I feel a lot of those games I just won because the team is just solid. So definitely worth trying out. Don't sleep on Giratina Altered. It's pretty solid. Definitely check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and hope to see you in the next one. Azare out. Right, now we're gonna do the YouTube outro. Now we're gonna bring this back to 18-7. All right, and now I'm gonna do a fake it's like, man, 18-7, 72% win rate.